We've got Stop flapping the gum, son. I don't want to buy.
Bobby, why don't we get ourselves a newspaper and let me clean up the line. I'll put it away.
Diamonds are a step up for Bobby. He used to service vending machines, and the older man is appalled by his attitude. But he tries to teach him the ropes.
Who's going to buy from you?
Your customers are going to buy from me.
My customer?
Yeah, they said they were going to give them.
Oh, that's not how it works. They can't give you my customer. Same way you can't give me your girlfriend. It doesn't work that way.
We think the movie's going to be about sales, but then it takes a turn. Bobby wants to do Eddie a favor and introduces the older man whose wife has died to a masseuse played by Bess Armstrong.
Yeah, children.
No, I can't have them. I married a couple. Didn't realize it, but no, I think I have better luck with dogs.
Robert Forster showed in Tarantino's Jackie Brown that he's good at playing a shy, sympathetic man, and this time the romance materializes in a way we're totally not expecting. Diamond Men, written and directed by Daniel M. Cohen, is a real discovery. Funny, touching, sexy, and deviously surprising, and in a year of so much junk, it'd be a shame to overlook a treasure like this one.
You are so right about that. That's plenty. The relationship between Albert Brooks and Lily Sobieski is worth the whole movie. For all this other stuff to happen in the last third, you almost feel like there was a story conference saying, well, we have to have more things happen. And that's a shame because, I mean, I'm recommending the movie. I think it's definitely worth seeing for the performances, but I was disappointed by that last third.
I know this is the first feature directed by Christine Lottie, the actress, and she really knows how to handle actors. But at the end, another character is brought in from left field. I wasn't interested in him. I didn't believe in what happened with him. Yeah. And as for the plot points that happened there at the end, absolutely standard and routine.
And it's not faithful to the rest of the beginning of the movie, the first two-thirds of the movie, which is so much smarter than that and different and original. And for that to happen, it's a disappointment, but still well worth recommending for the performances and for the bulk of the film.
Yes, and I was so happy that it didn't turn into a Lolita story. It's not about sex. It's about the meeting of minds.
It's smarter than that.
Okay, coming up later in the show, Drew Barrymore learns the facts of life riding in cars with boys.
How do I look?
You look beautiful, Mommy.
And coming up next, the world between dreaming and waking life.
Everyone's sleepwalking through their waking state or walking through their dreams.
Osborne Cox. Who am I speaking to? You're part of a league of morons.
We'll kick things off with an early review of Burn After Reading. How do you follow up No Country for Old Men? Well, if you're Joel and Ethan Coen, you recruit some of the biggest and finest actors working today and make a comedy where they play 5 of the most spectacularly self-involved characters in recent memory. And they also happen to be wonderfully dim.
If you ever carried out your proposed threat, you would experience such a storm of consequences that your empty little head would be spinning faster than the wheels of your Schwinn bicycle back there.
You think that's a Schwinn?
Frances McDormand and Brad Pitt are, naturally, fitness instructors at Hard Bodies, a gym in the D.C. suburbs. They think they've hit the jackpot when they find a disc belonging to a drunken ex-CIA analyst. He's played with violent bitterness by John Malkovich, who's married to Earth's least compassionate doctor, Tilda Swinton. She's having an affair with a U.S. Marshal, played by George Clooney.
Is that goat cheese? Chèvre. Yes, that is a goat cheese, because I have a lactose reflux and I can't.
You're lactose intolerant?
Yeah, but
or you have acid reflux. They're different things.
I know what they are.
So you misspoke.
Well, thank you for correcting me.
These are functioning morons. They walk and work among us. And they are brilliant and funny, and in spite of the screwball comedy nature of the story, they are completely believable. Throw in talented character actors Richard Jenkins, J.K. Simmons, and David Rage, who actually steals every scene he's in, and this is a must-see.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely see it. It's great to see George Clooney and Brad Pitt having fun at the movies again. Last year at this time, they were Michael Clayton and Jesse James, serious stuff. Here they are, and almost like an exercise in drama. It almost felt like all the actors picked their parts out of a hat. and they were stuck with it and made the most of it, and each one's talented enough to pull it off.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. I particularly love Brad Pitt and Frances McDormand, and the fact that what they're seeking when they get John Malkovich's disc is not millions for fame and fortune. They just want plastic surgery so they can continue working at hard
Right,
bodies.
and I think Brad Pitt would need plastic surgery after John Malkovich punches him in the face. If someone said to you, this is the same directing team that did No Country for Old Men, I wouldn't believe you unless you said it was the Coen brothers. Those guys can seem to do everything. My only real criticism of the film is that it wasn't long enough. I rarely say that about movies, but I felt like I was in and out of there, and I got out and I said, well, that was quirky and weird and surreal. What just happened?
But they took sort of the quirkiness and the dim-wittedness, they took it right up to the line. I still think it worked. It was close. There were a couple moments when I would think, nobody's that dumb.
Well,
but I still think it worked.
They really combined sort of intelligence and ignorance in this movie, sort of taking on all the CIA espionage movies that come out from the Jason Bourne films and sort of making a little pot shot at them. And I think Frances McDormand might get nominated for an Academy Award in a supporting role. She was great.
I'd be surprised if this movie didn't generate some nomination.
All right, on to...
Into that one, and
coming up next, it's the 50th anniversary revival of a classic movie about a beautiful young woman and 7 little guys who whistle while they work.
Scott Pilgrim? Hi, I was thinking about asking you out, but then I realized how stupid that would be. That's okay. You can just sign for this, all right? So do you want to go out sometime? I say yes, we sign for your damn package. So yeah, 8 o'clock?
In his zombie movie, Shaun of the Dead, and his hot movie spoof, Hot Fuzz, the British director Edgar Wright proved himself to be one of the few contemporary writer-directors with a real facility for visual comedy. The proof continues with Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, based on a series of graphic novels by Brian Lee O'Malley. They're about a dweeby young Toronto lad in his early 20s, played in the film by Michael Cera. Scott Pilgrim is in a band and tentatively dating a high schooler when he falls hard for the tough chick of his dreams, played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead. One catch.
If we're gonna date, you may have to defeat my 7 evil exes. You have 7 evil ex-boyfriends? 7 evil exes, yes. And I have to defeat your 7 evil exes if we're going to continue to date? Pretty much.
The film spins its wheels in the final half hour, which is too bad. And you might wish Ramona, the Winstead character, had 4 or 5 evil exes to defeat rather than 7. But the battles are inventive, the film is very quick on its feet, and Wright has figured out the tone. In this summer of formulaic blockbusters, here is a fantasy with a deadpan comic edge you might just go for. I did. I say see it. Good.
I agree.
Let's
Yeah,
succeed.
it's really original and imaginative and inventive. One of the few movies I've seen that combines video games with, you know, live action, quasi-realistic filmmaking in an interesting and fresh way. I mean, I'm not a big video game player, but I thought the way that he's grabbing extra lives and the way that when he defeats these X's, they turn into a shower of coins, which he goes and picks up, was very...
And it's very clever. Right from the opening credits where you hear the Universal Studios logo with that familiar theme done in this very tinny late 80s arcade. It's clever. Edgar Wright has made not a bad film yet. I would say he's got a penchant for, you know, 15, 20 extra minutes he doesn't need. I hope he kind of learns a little bit of economy as he explores his adventure.
Too many endings, but such a fresh, witty, fast style, and some really good songs too. Scott Pilgrim's band, which is called Sex Bob-omb, they play songs composed for the movie by Beck.
And those transitions, the visual transitions between scenes are just like they are in the graphic novel, but they're not just replicating the storyboarding. It's like finding a new cinematic way and getting a laugh with it, too.
And it's self-conscious in the way that the characters are self-conscious about themselves. It's in a way very modest and unassuming, even though it's very inventive.
Won't be for everybody, but it's clever.
It's a nice movie.
Coming up later in the show, Kenneth Branagh and Winona Ryder are part of the star-studded cast of Woody Allen's Celebrity.
You will not be sorry, trust me.
Coming up next, A Bug's Life, the new animated feature from the makers of Toy Story.
Always cast me as the broom, the pole, the stick, a splinter. You're a walking stick! It's funny!
Our next movie is the small animated gem, The Illusionist. This is the latest film from French director Sylvain Chomet, who was nominated for an Oscar for Best Animated feature for The Triplets of Bel. The Illusionist is based on an old script from the late Jacques Tati about an aging French magician trying to stay relevant in an ever-modern